From Wilson, North Carolina, and the Gillette Soccer Complex, Field 1. It's time for some soccer. Today, the 2015 Girls U.S. Youth Soccer National League Series featuring a game between two 15 and under clubs. One, Greater Binghamton United FC. The other, OFC 01 Phillips, a team from Edmond, Oklahoma. Hello, everyone. I'm Marky Bilson. So far in this tournament, the Greater Binghamton United FC is 1-1. They defeated FC Illinois by a 3-1 score, but lost to Midwest 6-1 as well. And head coach Chris Riley told me that Midwest was just an incredibly fast team, and he was very impressed with their skills. Meanwhile, the team from Oklahoma, they're 500. They've tied 2 games. A couple of 1-1 ties, first against New York HBC and then another one against Cup Gold. Greater Binghamton United FC was 4th in the tournament last year, and so they will be wearing red. One might think that it's a bit surprising. Oklahoma will be wearing white, and I just the thought just occurred to me right here that that's a bit different because, of course, Oklahoma, when translated, means land of red people, but the red people today, or at least the red shirt-wearing people today, will be from Binghamton, New York, the upstate. So there you are. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way that you think it might, but still looking smashing in white uniforms with black numbers are the teams from Oklahoma. We are set to go underway. Starting goalkeepers today for Binghamton, Mackenzie Wagstaff, and for the team from Oklahoma, OFC 01 Phillips, Hensley Handcuff, who is a very fine goalkeeper. She is the starting goalkeeper for the U17 and under national. And remember, this is a 15 and under game. So Handcuff, it'll be very difficult to get the ball past her today. A couple of 1-1 ties, so it has happened before, but Binghamton will have one of the top goalkeepers to try to beat in this tournament. The base formation for the New Yorkers is a 4-3-3, so it's more of an offensive set. Meanwhile, a 4-4-2 traditional base may change for the ladies from Edmond, Oklahoma. This is a 40-minute half because it is not an 18 or a 17-year-old game. And I'll be giving you some of the starting players here and a little bit more information as time goes by. I will tell you one thing as I'm sort of letting the action take place as both teams just trying to basically play in the center of the field. Here's one attempt right now, and this is number 17, Carson Smittle, and Smittle actually has one of the goals, I believe, for Oklahoma in this tournament. The other has been scored by Janet Moreno, who is the other striker in the 4-4-2 that Oklahoma plays. Their coach, Stephen Phillips. And I don't know if you could have heard that, but the very vociferous Chris Riley saying they're playing a 4-4-2, and he set strategy there. The kick long, but over the net. Carson Smittle, I believe, with that shot attempt. And as I said, Smittle has one of the goals in this tournament. Moreno has the other one. The big loss for Oklahoma, and perhaps a reason why the ties have been ties and not victory, is that Peyton Vinchko, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Vinchko is out with a concussion. Although Vinchko is only 15 years old, she is already a verbal commitment to play for Oklahoma State. She was the only verbal commitment to a college on either of these two teams. Now there are college recruiters right now that I can see from Drexel, Iowa, and I believe Kansas at this very game. Kickoff here. The goalkeeper, and we're going to see the leg now of handcuff. It's not handcuff like the policeman. Well, excuse me, that's not handcuff. My apologies. I actually making that kick, and I do apologize, was Caitlin Pierce. So I'm liking these uniforms that Oklahoma wears due to the fact that their numbers are very easy to read. You can see the big black on white is very easy to read. And also these teams put their number on the front as well. So you have, in this case, with Oklahoma, you can see them coming and you can see them going. And that's unusual on a soccer jersey. Now, I will say that the number up front is not like a football player's number would be, and encasing the chest fully, but it's still able to see. You're also seeing right there one of the unique features of this field from Wilson, North Carolina. As I have said before, when you think North Carolina, what do you think of? You think of hills and woods. Well, field number 1 here at the Gillette Complex in Wilson is built by the woods and on top of a hill. So when the ball goes to the far side of the field, it often rolls down a hill, and that can sometimes add some extra time to the game. Oklahoma with the possession right now, trying to lead it ahead. The shot attempt and knocking it away. It was a difficult angle, obviously, for Smittle, but she was able to have a chance, but knocked away by the fine defense of Binghamton. Oklahoma uses something of a traditional defense where instead of a flat back four, they use a diamond. Now let's talk a bit about Binghamton. Number 20 is Gabrielle Davis. There's the sweeper, Zoe Farr. The ball is played here. And that is handcuffed. Excuse me, that is not handcuff. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stick my bearings to those. Mackenzie Wagstaff, I believe. Handcuff, of course, the goalkeeper for Oklahoma FC. So please forgive as I try to get the bearings. I usually get who I'm going to play and the rosters of the teams about 5 minutes before the game, and perhaps that's not an excuse. I'm very sorry, but sometimes, therefore, if I misspeak in that manner, I do apologize. It does happen, and I ask that you bear with me under those circumstances. But we are committed to getting it right here on the Turbo Sports Network. player with one of the stronger legs on Oklahoma is Pierce, and she's going to be kicking it here. Challenge here for Wagstaff in net. Instead, a pass to Kylie Addison. And now Binghamton with the ball again. Not really a chance to set up position so far, but now here we see for Binghamton, Zoe Farr. Zoe Farr trying to get it far, and there is Handcuff coming out of the net and covering up just before Shaylin McClary could get a shot on goal. Let's see the leg of Handcuff. Pretty good, all things considered. Not bad for a 15-year-old. The ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in here. Ball going out of bounds. The weather today, very pleasant now. Earlier, there was a bit of chill in the air. We had winds coming in at 12 miles an hour from the northeast. Not enough really to influence any of the kicks or anything earlier in the day, but in this 2 o'clock game, it is very sunny. There legitimately is not a cloud in the sky. 55 degrees. And the wind, and you may hear a little bit, well, it's at 11 degrees, but whereas earlier there was a chill in the air, now it is 55 degrees, and I'm told that the wind chill factor, oh yeah, it's 54. So, point is the weather conditions do not figure to be a factor in this game. The field is in pretty good shape. It is December, so the grass won't be quite as green as it could be, but nevertheless, trying to set it up. Spirited action right now, but also something of an opened style. A scoreless game right now. The ball right now being handled by Oklahoma's Riley Orton. She wears 16. She has the ball now. And she gives it to number 4, Shaylin McClary. Cheyenne, but not spelled like the capital of Wyoming, which begins with a C. Her name, Cheyenne McClary, number 4 on Oklahoma, is Shyann. So, a scoring chance here, and the shot by Smittle goes wide. Well, I had mentioned before that Smittle and Moreno had scored the 2 goals in this tournament, and Smittle is showing some fine skill. She's gotten some shots on goal off here in the early going. We're still in a tie game here between Oklahoma and Binghamton, New York. this kick from keeper Wagstaff, Mackenzie Wagstaff. And this ball will go out of bounds. Trying to center it, and the kick is long. Binghamton trying to get possession into Oklahoma, and taking the ball into the opponent's territory was actually Davis, Gabrielle Davis, who wears number 20. There she kicks the ball, but it will be taken and knocked out of bounds by Riley Orton. Orton wearing 16. But now it will be Davis throwing the ball in. There's a bit of sportsmanship right there as the two coaches converge, and they want to verify what the time is remaining. This ball kicked away. For the red team, Robin Confer, of course, Greater Binghamton United FC, the name. And I had mentioned before that I was a bit surprised. Those of you who don't know, I found this to be a fun fact, but Oklahoma, if you translate from the native language as well, first let's talk about these two. It's collision right there, but, stoppage of play. If you translate the meaning of the word into English, it actually means land of red people. So I was a bit surprised, therefore, that it was Binghamton wearing the red, but there is a reserve on Greater Binghamton United FC. Vandermeer Camille. Vandermeer Camille. If you're a baseball fan, all of a sudden it becomes very appropriate for Binghamton to wear red if they have a player named Vandermeer. And in fact, I am wondering right now, it says Vandermeer Camille, and if she enters into the game, I'll try to confer this, and we may actually, this corner kick, by the way, let's get that. But I'm wondering if on this roster that's not actually printed backwards. Corner kick here for Oklahoma, can they convert? No, this one taken and broken up by Binghamton, but not before McClary can keep possession. Whistle blows, and, well, it'll be Binghamton's ball. Olivia McKnight wears number 9 for Binghamton. They're having trouble getting us some possession. There's been one play that we've seen handcuff the very talented Oklahoma goalkeeper make, but other than that, most of the time the ball has been in the Binghamton half. This may change very quickly. Long kick here. We're approaching the halfway point of the first half, so we'll be a quarter of the way through the game. And we have a player going to the floor, or the ground as it may be. Kirsten Fisher, number 4, fell to the ground. We're going to have a kick and a scoring chance here. Still no score in this game between Binghamton and Oklahoma. Kick sails wide. Both these teams 500 after 2 games in this tournament. The only thing is that Binghamton's done it the traditional way with a win and a loss. Edmond, Oklahoma has gone about it with an 0-0-2 record. Something that would make the 1948 Wofford Terriers football team proud. Go look it up, what I'm talking about. Flag goes up. Play is stopped. We're letting mostly the action do the talking here for a variety of reasons. One is necessity. The other is you get sometimes, let's face it, broadcasters can talk too much when the picture can do the talking. But let us identify the player who just did that kickoff. It's Brianna Spence. Spence was born midway through April. It's the new breed of athlete, one that has only been alive in the 21st century. That's getting, we'll start to see that kicking away. I just remember as a youth collecting baseball cards and seeing Carl Yastrzemski, and that he was born in the 1930s, and it just seemed like that was so long ago, and certainly it was now. Oh boy, so long ago, and I go from that vantage point of my memory to, as this crossing kick will go out of bounds. Now players who, and athletes now that I cover, that have only been alive in the 21st century. Collision falling to the ground for Oklahoma was McClary. Now this is Handcuff will be kicking the ball away. And we're seeing why she is such an outstanding prospect, starting on the U17 national team with that kick. She has quite a leg. We're going to see a substitution for Binghamton. Coming into the game will be Olivia Pilati, diminutive player, wearing number 6. With attractive blue and gold soccer cleats. So we will be having a substitution very shortly, the next opportunity. And Pilati will come in, and coming out, losing a little bit of height here for Binghamton, will be Kristen Fisher, one of the 3 strikers. So a change up top. Binghamton hasn't had much, oh, shall I say, they haven't had much offensive pressure in this game to date, so a little change there, but the bench of Binghamton not critical of Fisher at all, in fact very encouraging when she came off. Throwing the ball in is Orton, Riley Orton. It's a popular name in Oklahoma, come to think of it. This is some nice footwork skills and a fine diving save by the goalkeeper Handcuff on the shot from Victoria McKnight. Both Victoria McKnight, she has one of the earlier goals in the game, or in the tournament for Binghamton, but now let's focus back in the action, and Janet Moreno getting the ball deep, but in the corner, left corner as the case may be. Ball goes out to the center of the pitch, trying to advance it ahead. I was a bit surprised there as a player falls to the ground that Aspen Cope, who took possession there, didn't try to launch it a bit deeper, but it was a difficult kick to try to make. But essentially, she just pushed it forward a little bit when she had a bit of an open field. I thought she might try to launch a shot over the defender's head, but it would have been a very difficult kick to attempt. And I've mentioned it's common also that although you do see shots from, say, 30 yards out or where have you, 35, it is unusual to a certain extent to see such shots taken in female soccer. And I've been told this by many, many coaches of many, many sports, that oftentimes it's just sort of the difference between the male and the female mindset. And I'll give you this example. If you've ever watched basketball, I'm sure, and you know, the point guard who scores a lot of points, that, you know, he's a ball hog, and that is commonplace, more so certainly in men's basketball than women's. And one of the things that I hear a lot of in women's sports is the coaches complaining, I can't get my players to want to take a shot. They want to pass the ball. They want to be a good teammate. They want to be giving, nurturing, you know. And it's something of a different, I just think the difference between the male and the female psyche obvious oftentimes. We're going to have a substitution here for both Binghamton and I believe Oklahoma at the next possible instance. Coming in for Binghamton, Ariana McKetty. And she'll be joined. And I see an 11. And there is not an 11. Coming out will be Madison Gilhool. And I'm wondering if this isn't the aforementioned Vandermeer that we spoke of. Now for Oklahoma, coming off will be McClary, Cheyenne McClary, and coming on will be Addison Arthur. Coming off Zoe Farr for Binghamton. And unfortunately, I don't have an 11 on my roster right now. And so I'm going to try to make, as I look here on the bench, and I'm going to let the play do the talking, and I am of the belief that that is probably Vandermeer. And this is where I'm just a little bit, I'm making a educated guess because I've got an 01 and an 11 came in on my roster. I do apologize for this. But for until I am told otherwise, I'm going to believe that that is Vandermeer. My thing, though, is as I look at the roster that I've been given, I see Vandermeer Camille being the name, and that's not all possible. But I'm more thinking that Camille is a much more common female first name. And Vandermeer, I thought of Johnny Vandermeer, the former Cincinnati Reds pitcher who threw two no-hitters in successive starts back in 1938. Anyway, so I'm wondering if this name isn't backwards. It takes a real pro to identify such mistakes and come up with theories that will nothing more than educated guesses. Caitlin Cook will be attempting a corner kick here. Good scoring opportunity in this scoreless tie. But the ball sails short of the net, and Handcuff will be knocking it out. Now we're going to have another corner kick. The second part of the first half, and Handcuff with a catch. The kick goes deep and over the net. With the ball here for Binghamton, Olivia McKnight. She's number 9. Passing off to Ella Goodman, if I am reading that correctly. Falling to the ground. Sometimes it's difficult for me to see the number from that angle, and so if it is not Goodman, but this is definitely McKnight. Or is it? Is that 8 or 9? Well, there's not an 8 on the right. Well, Caitlin Cook, it could be. I do apologize. Oklahoma will be sending in 2 new players coming into the game. Allison Mayberry and Cassidy Potter. Coming out of the game will be the diminutive but highly effective Janet Moreno. She has one of the goals that were scored by her team. And coming off as well is Aspen Cope. Binghamton will be sending on 2 new players. Janika McKeedy. So McKeedy will be joining who I presume to be her sister. And then we have a number 12. And I am sorry here, but a number 12, and there is not a number 12 on the roster. At halftime, I'll try to get these players here. Olivia McKnight comes off. Victoria McKnight comes off. So the McKnights have been replaced by the Machetes. McKeeties, I'm sorry. It's actually a Mick, said instead of Meech. McKeedy. Cover up there by the goalkeeper, Wagstaff. I'm wondering if Robin Confer isn't the player that just came on. I have a 13 on the roster. And as I am briefly scanning, no, there is a Confer, Robin Confer, there is a 13 on the field for Binghamton. Try to get the clarification of that as quickly as I can. I do, like I said, apologize. I don't want to slight anyone. And at the half, I'll be able to get the confirmation. If you're watching in and all that, make sure the numbers match up with the names on your roster that you give to the medium. Brianna Spence will be kicking this ball for Binghamton. But now Oklahoma with possession, a long shot, but way off the mark. Play is stopped. A whistle blows. We're in the final stages of the first half of play here. No score between Oklahoma and Binghamton. We're in the final 10 minutes, I should say. Been no great delays, so any extra time would be minimal. And the ball goes out of play. Now Oklahoma with possession. Kick deep and going back out. And now going out of bounds. And a stoppage of play right now as we have an injured player. Try to determine who that is for Oklahoma. This team based from Edmond, Oklahoma. It appears to be the left ankle. Going to have a huddle up here. There's no score. Binghamton and Oklahoma, both these two teams 500 in this tournament. Binghamton 1-1. Oklahoma, they did it the less traditional way, 0-2. Now Oklahoma being called over to their own bench. They go talk strategy over here. At halftime, I will get you a confirmation of the two players whose names and numbers do not match. We'll have a bit of a break. Now both teams coming over to their bench to talk strategy for the final stages of the first half. Try to find out, it is the left ankle of the injured player. And from this vantage point, I don't have a set of binoculars with me, I'm sorry. I cannot make out the number. Thankfully, the player does not appear to be in tremendous pain. But she is going to hop off, and I don't think can put weight on her ankle. And right now, that appears to be trying to determine this from a long way out, the number up front, and I think this is Allison Mayberry. It is Mayberry, and as you can determine, I am assuming that the video we see as a close-up or a shot right now of Mayberry with two coaches acting as her crutch. Thankfully, she can walk with their aid. And she is in discomfort, unquestionably. Two coaches get together and exchange well wishes. She walks right past me. Now this is an advantage right now for Binghamton because they're going to play a man down. As I said, there is no re-entry at this time, so a power play, if you will. Shot comes and it goes wide. So in a short-handed situation, I wonder here, are they going to try the umbrella defense? I mean, I get this using hockey terms here as Wagstaff will kick this ball away. But Mayberry, and she was in great discomfort, or not necessarily, I was just shy of having tears come out of her eyes when she came out. So thankfully, the ankle injury appears to be, I would be surprised if she came back after such a long stoppage and such, but at the same time, and I now see her leg up on the bench, and she'll get treatment from the team manager and trainers, obviously. So we'll have some extra time in the game, or at least in the half. Despite playing a man down, Oklahoma keeps possession, and this shot just goes just wide from Smittle. Nice left-footed shot there. We will now have a kick from Wagstaff as the Binghamton 11 try to get possession against the Oklahoma 10. And wouldn't you know it, the two players that handle the ball, the two that I don't have on the roster. But now in transition, here comes Oklahoma as Moncho. Moncho has the ball, that's number 10, but her long shot sails wide. 2 minutes were added to the clock. Right now we see another Wagstaff kick, and she prefers the traditional kickoff. Her leg not quite what Handcuffs is, but Handcuff, one of the best goalies really of her age, maybe in the country, although she has been scored upon twice in this tournament. Kick goes out of bounds. Throw in. And that is going to be the half. Well, we've played 40 minutes, no score here between Greater Binghamton United FC and OFC 01 Phillips. We will break for 10 minutes for halftime. I'll try to get the identities of the two players and any update on the injury to Mayberry that I can. You have been watching and will return to watch the Turbo Sports Network. Welcome back to Wilson, North Carolina, where we have a scoreless tie being this 15 and under game between Oklahoma and Binghamton, officially Greater Binghamton United FC, and the name of the team from Edmond, Oklahoma, OFC 01 Phillips. Now, giving you some updates that I had promised you. First of all, a clarification. Number 11, who is right now has the ball for Binghamton, is Ella Goodman. And on my roster initially it was a different number. Also, it is Camille Vandermeer. It is not Vandermeer Camille, as it is. I was originally told. I looked at that and I said, that can't be right. But she is the player wearing number 12, and as I do a quick look at the field, she is not necessarily on the field right now, I do not believe, but I'm going to make a quick look, and no, I do not believe she is. So she'll probably sub a little bit later on, but we wanted to give you that. So number 12 was Camille Vandermeer. Now, update on Allison Mayberry. It is very unlikely that she would return. I will rule her unofficially out. I can't imagine that how she would return. Injured her left ankle earlier in the game, which of course is still a scoreless tie. Edmond, Oklahoma lost Allison Mayberry late in the first half. As I said, a left ankle injury at halftime. She's on the bench, her leg extended on the bench, if you will. Really couldn't put any weight on it. It was being iced down. I saw it as sensitive, too real sensitive to even take her sock off, I felt, from what I saw. And I have been told through the grapevine that a medic may be coming in. So do not look for a return from Allison Mayberry in this game. Although, for that being said, she was in discomfort, but on the bright side, I would not call the pain excruciating. It was in great discomfort, but was not crying out or anything of that nature. So if we can take somewhat of a positive from an unfortunate circumstance, perhaps that would be it. The score again, 0-0. And the final mention that I would make is look for Oklahoma to try to penetrate a little bit deeper. I had the chance to hear during halftime Stephen Phillips rather emphatically tell his ladies that he wanted them to take better shot selection, and that meant getting the ball closer into the goal against Mackenzie Wagstaff of Greater Binghamton United FC. Here we see Handcuff almost allow a goal in, but it goes just wide. It was just beyond her reach. Now, Hensley Handcuff is the outstanding Oklahoma goalie who is a starter on the U17 national program or team. But now we will see Caitlin Pierce kick off deep. Binghamton in red, Oklahoma in white. Of course, it is reversed. And so this is a 40-minute half. There is no overtime. If the game remains scoreless, or for that matter, 1-1, 2-2, what have you, 20-20, it will be just that. It will be a tie, as fans of Oklahoma FC will certainly be familiar with, as they have played 2 games in this tournament and tied both games. And there we see a collision. Carson Smittle involved in it. Oklahoma will retain possession. Gabrielle Davis, the Binghamton player she got tied up with. And now Binghamton with the ball. goes out of bounds and down the hill. Throwing the ball in. Ball, they tried to center it. Did not work. Going the ball on right wing. This is Moncho. Moncho trying to center it, but she just could not find Smittle. Missed on what would have been a promising attempt to kick the ball into the net. Still no score here. Early stages of the second half. Binghamton red, Oklahoma. You can probably read the name on the back of their uniform. They're in white. Oklahoma covering when the ball goes into their territory. And the ball once again goes out of bounds, but is saved by an onlooker before it goes down the hill. So that adds that much more time. They probably did stop the clock a little bit on the field when there was injury time or extra time when balls went down the hill, but sometimes they'll just let that go, if you will. Oklahoma trying to set something up, taking the ball back, and again, the ball will go out of boundaries. Throw in, trying to set something up, and instead, Binghamton will take possession. You almost sensed right there that the hesitation to throw it in, but now we have a circumstance, and this will be Wagstaff covering the ball. Oklahoma keeps it in the opponent's end, maybe not for long. And we're going to have a substitution in the early going of this second half. So coming into the game for Binghamton will be another player whose name I do not have on the roster. What is the name of the player coming in? What is the name of the player coming? All right. Thank you. We have Lindsay Salisbury coming in, and Lindsay Salisbury is not on my roster, which is why I was having such a difficult time right there to figure this out. Coming out due to an injury is Brianna Spence. So Salisbury, Elizabeth Salisbury coming in. And we will have another substitution here as Victoria McKnight, one of the starting strikers, will come in. here's an opportunity for Oklahoma, but a whistle blows before, and that might be an offsides on Oklahoma, before Carson Smittle can advance the ball. Coming out is Jenica McKeedy, and that is Jenica Ariana, who wears number 10. Is the other McKeedy on the team. But she is not in the game either, so. One gets the sense right now with a couple of substitutions that this is a circumstance where the time is becoming, the feeling is now for Binghamton, even though they don't have the ball in their opponent's end right now. The lights have come on here in Wilson, which is a big surprise. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's very bright. There are some onlookers even wearing sunglasses. But the lights are on. Collision, and now we'll have a kickoff in Binghamton. We're going to wait and set up here. The ball goes out of bounds off the noggin of an Oklahoma player. Kicking the ball out of her own end is Cheyenne McClary. But now Binghamton with possession. And the ball on the opponent's end, knocking it out of bounds for Oklahoma, is Pierce, Caitlin Pierce. Oklahoma, without perhaps their best player with a concussion, Peyton Vincenzo, already committed to Oklahoma State, the only player on either one of these two teams that have already made a collegiate commitment. Throw in. Long shot, handcuff, no problem with it. She'll punt it away. Strong leg for handcuff. But punting a bit into the wind, and that was probably one of her lesser efforts of the day. Nice play right there by Oklahoma's number 33. I'm trying to buy some time on and find number 33 on my roster, and there is none.
Up, Kenzie, up!
This is McClary. We have a recruiter from Arkansas who has joined the recruiters from Kansas and Iowa. Wagstaff with her best effort today, and I'm wondering, the wind blowing in her directions, if the kick wasn't aided. Now the wind today has been basically coming in at 12 miles an hour, so you wouldn't think that it'd be that big of a deal, but possibly. We're 15 minutes into the second period, no score yet. Penetrating the ball deep now is Binghamton, but the ball right now going out of bounds and not quite down the hill. Game time temperature was 55 degrees and the wind at 11 miles an hour. And so that might have been a possible advantage. So the wind at the backs for Binghamton give a lot of credit there to Aaron Mitchell for some fine defense for Oklahoma, making sure the ball went out of bounds. And yeah, they cannot get it out of the corner. Oklahoma kicks it away, and this will be a throw-in. Caitlin Cook will be giving Binghamton with a nice scoring opportunity here with a kick. Perhaps not necessarily a and the player 29, her name is Elizabeth Salisbury, but Salisbury encouraged to go forward, but Handcuff is able to cover the ball, and she'll be kicking this away. The wind comes, and here comes the punt. Perhaps a little bit short, but still in the territory of Oklahoma. The ball goes out of bounds. Oklahoma ball here will be thrown in by Aaron Mitchell, the ladies from Edmond. And there is a nice individual effort as Moncho gets the ball, but will Moncho be able to, yeah, Moncho stepped out of bounds. Throw in. And Binghamton will kick it into the other end. And now this might be a opportunity Madison Gilhool, but she was well defended by Aaron Mitchell. Kick goes out of bounds. Well, Binghamton in recent play, or recent action, has dominated the possession time, or approaching the three-quarter mark of the game. Still no score. And we will see a corner kick here. And there is the hope here that perhaps a header can be achieved. Cook will kick the ball. Goes into the crowd and is kicked away by Pierce of Oklahoma. But Binghamton still has possession deep. The flag goes up. And we will now have a substitution. Ariana McKetty will be coming in, along with Kristen Fisher. The McKnights on Binghamton have been covered very well today. They haven't had the ball much. They're projected to be two of the more promising prospects for Binghamton, and both have scored goals in this tournament.
Lindsay, inside of her. There you go. She can have that first crack at
Now
it.
it's time for Oklahoma, however.
Up.
Janet Moreno earlier, she was the diminutive player wearing number 7. Trying to get it to the center somehow. But now here's the substitution for Binghamton. So coming in comes Fisher and McKetty. Or McKeady, I should say. Coming out, Ella Goodman, as well as Olivia Pilati. So their day is done. And now we'll have a throw in. Still no score. We're 3/4 of the way through the game between Oklahoma and Binghamton. Could Oklahoma tie their 3rd straight game of the tournament? This kick going into Oklahoma territory. Pilati, and we'll whistle blows. There was a collision there between Gilhool, excuse me, I think I said Pilati, Madison Gilhool and Caitlin Pierce. This will be Cook with the kick. And her left-footed kick is actually taken by Oklahoma, but still in their side of the field, but for how long? Well, a little bit longer, thanks to number 14 of Binghamton. That is Zoe Farr. But Handcuff wants to punt it away. Challenge for the ball. And now Oklahoma City with it. One of their promising players, Smittle, got it into Binghamton territory. But now we see Cook doing her best to take the ball back. Doesn't quite work out that way. She's in defense here. Kick to the center of the pitch. Binghamton trying to knock it away. And the ball goes out of bounds again. Centering kick. And the ball goes down the hill again. Well, we have no score here, and the game is approaching the 15-minute mark left. Binghamton doing a heck of a job to prevent Oklahoma from really getting any positioning in the center of the field. Joined us late. Allison Mayberry left early with a left ankle injury, and she will not return, barring some sort of miracle cure for a left ankle injury. It's being iced down. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be Binghamton ball in Oklahoma territory. The left-footed kick to the center, but it is taken by an Oklahoma player. Still, here's a long kick, but it's nothing Handcuff can't handle. She'll punt it away. But still, Binghamton is able to retain possession. Here's a fight for the ball, and this one's going out of bounds. It will be Salisbury to throw it in. Gilhool tried to get it towards the center, but there she is now. Gilhool, and she may have something open. The shot falls out of bounds. For a moment, it appeared that Gilhool might have had a clear shot. But it was not the case. We have a substitution for Oklahoma. Addison Arthur will be coming in for Oklahoma. Arthur comes in, coming out Aspen Cope. This is Gilhool. And Madison Gilhool, her shot taken and covered by Handcuff. Handcuff's seen a lot more work in the second half than she did in the first. Binghamton has had more possession, and I can't help but wonder if that isn't directly because of Mayberry's injury. She injured her left ankle, which is being iced down, and has not returned and will not return, barring a miracle. I can't imagine that she would. And we were told, in fact, that a medic had been called, but I don't see any medic, and there had been plenty of time for that to occur by now. So hopefully the injury is not extremely serious, but in all likelihood it will keep her out of the rest of the game. And in fact, she is on the bench, her leg up on the bench. And I'm trying to see, and her shoe off. Kick sails over the goal. We are approaching the 10-minute mark remaining in the game. Still no score as Oklahoma will try to kick it away. Well, the question comes out, is this going to be Oklahoma's third straight tie? Soccer about the only sport left where ties are somewhat acceptable. And And I think that's unfortunate, actually. I can kind of see the shootout in hockey, but I've never liked the overtime loss aspect. I
Cookie! Speak to Maddie if we can. Hey, Maddie, gotta go. Gotta go.
often felt that the way they start to do this now in hockey with 3-on-3, and so just anything to cheapen and gimmick up a sport, you know. But soccer, the beautiful game, remains pure in that sense. And certainly in football, I mean, college and high school overtime is just atrocious. This kick will go over the net. Wagstaff's kick is a line drive, and it will go out of bounds. Attempt to throw it in, and it goes out of bounds again. There's no overtime. The one thing that I do find with soccer is that if you do take it into overtime, the idea of the shootout in soccer becomes, well, I'd almost rather see the players engage in a spelling bee or something. It becomes just a matter of which way the goalie dives on a guess, and frankly, there's got to be a better way to do it. And if you're wondering why we're talking about stalemates, it's because we have a game tied at 0 between Oklahoma and Binghamton with less than 8 minutes to play. And Oklahoma has tied 2 straight games. New York Gold HBC and Cup Gold. Now those were by 1-1 scores. The way this one might be working out, this one might be a 0-0 score. The ironic thing is that I did hear Stephen Phillips, in his halftime speech, talk about shot selection and getting the ball closer to his team. And since that time, this half, and again, there has been an injury, but really Oklahoma, they possessed the ball for much of the first half, and since the injury to Allison Mayberry, left ankle injury, she has not, nor will she return, well, then possession time has been mostly dominated by Binghamton. Not sure if you heard or overheard that we're going to have a substitution for the final 5 minutes for Oklahoma. So they'll have a fresher player come in. Cassidy Potter will be coming in, and now they have possession in Binghamton's end. Keeping it in here, Addison, Kylie Addison. Juliet Moncho kicks it back. Moncho wearing number 10. But now Binghamton with possession again, trying to get it deep. They've only made, Binghamton has one substitution so far in this half. So the ball now deep, but in the corner of Oklahoma territory. Here is a shot. But again, McKnight, her kick covered by Handcuff. And the ball kept in, and a great play right there to keep the ball in and get possession by Oklahoma. And so it appears that Moncho is going to come off. And Moncho, a bit fatigued, I can see, coming on the aforementioned Potter. Still no score in the final stages of this game between Binghamton and Oklahoma. Two key injuries to Oklahoma, and it appears now there may be their third tie of the game. And now here comes a possible breakaway. It goes in by the player whose name I do not have on my roster. And we'll have to get this right away. The one player that they have not given me on the roster, and I will get that for you, has kicked it in and given Oklahoma a 1-0 lead. So the ties may be ending. Number 33, and it is Aaron Mitchell with the goal. I have Mitchell listed as 21 on my roster, but Aaron Mitchell, who, by the way, was able to get possession with a great play earlier that prevented the ball from going out of bounds. It was inches away, and then she launches from about 20 yards out the goal past Wagstaff to give Oklahoma a 1-0 lead. Now can Binghamton, which has been dominating possession time, can they get the tying goal in the late stages of a throw-in? And Salisbury is not going to waste any time to throw it in. The ball away from the goal now. So it is Aaron Mitchell with the goal. Before we leave, I should mention this. The name of the player who made the first, and she is eligible to come in still in this half, would be Camille Vandermeer. And Vandermeer, we had before said Vandermeer Camille because it's the way it was listed on the roster, and I theorized that is probably written backwards. But Vandermeer was the player who wore number 12 in the first half. I want to make this. And I had the chance to ask her, are you related to Johnny Vandermeer, the great Cincinnati Reds pitcher who threw back-to-back no-hitters in 1938? And the idea, she said, we don't know officially, but my grandfather thinks so. So it'd be a distant relation if it is. Nevertheless, well, if you're from Binghamton, New York, and you know the name Vandermeer, the second no-hitter, I believe, was the first night game at Ebbets Field. There's a New York reference there. We are in the final stages of this game, and here is a shot taken by McKetty, or excuse me, McKeady. I think that was McKeady, where the shot was taken, but a save by Handcuff. Final stages of this game, 1-0 Oklahoma, a late goal by Mitchell. I have unofficially only 15 seconds left. This is McKeady throwing it in. Ball going away from the net. Going out of bounds. I have 1 second of unofficial time, so we're in extra time at this point. A collision. Trying to get back. Whistle blows, but it will be Oklahoma ball. That could do it. Kick will be taken here by Fisher. Excuse me, that is incorrect. McClary.
All the way up, Maddie. All the way up, Nick.
Moreno trying desperately to get the ball into Oklahoma's end, and they do as Binghamton, as we're in the final stages of the game. This might be a shot. Yalul with a shot on goal, but is right on Handcuff. Handcuff dribbling the ball. She's trying to waste as much as she can. Here's the punt, and that's it. A late goal by Erin Mitchell gives Oklahoma their first victory of the tournament. They are now undefeated at 1-0-2. OFC 01 Phillips 1, Greater Binghamton United FC nothing. The goal was scored in the final 3 minutes from about 25 yards out, beating goalkeeper Mackenzie Wagstaff. Meanwhile, a strong game for one of the more promising players in this tournament, Hensley Handcuff in net. She is the starting U17 national goalie, and a late save for her on a shot from Madison Gilhool saved the game and the victory, the first one of the tournament for Oklahoma. So 1-0 OFC 01 Phillips defeats Binghamton, whose record falls to 1-2 in this tournament. You've been listening to the Turbo Sports Network. So long, everyone.